Turn your Bible, Matthew 10. Matthew 10, verse 16 to 23. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16 to 23. We're going to hear God's word all together. Here's the word of God.
Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues, and you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child, and children will rise against parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next, for truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes.
Amen. This is another instruction from Jesus Christ to his apostles. He's sending them out to the field. And then he said, it feels like, I'm sending you out as sheep among wolves. It's kind of wonderful thoughts if you think about it. God is Jesus Christ, who is a good shepherd, right? Good shepherd sending you out. You are, as his sheep, because he's the good shepherd. He knows you, right? He cares for you, and he loves you. And then we know his voice because we are his sheep. He knows our name. We know his voice. So we have a good relationship as a shepherd and his sheep. But on top of that, he said, I'm sending you out as sheep among wolves, destructive, deadly, wild animal. Kind of Jesus is making some kind of dramatic illustration, right? I'm sending you out as a sheep among that destructive, deadly animal, wolves. It's a helpless, kind of surrounding and circumstance. Think about you are just sheep, really innocent sheep, and you are surrounded by destructive and deadly wolves. This helpless circumstance, because if you go out, you're gonna experience God-hating culture, God-hating society, God-hating community. You're going to face that. Christ rejecting society, community. You are my disciple. You are my sheep. I am your good shepherd, but I'm sending you out in this world, in this field. They hated me. They're going to hate you too. They're going to reject me. And they're going to reject you. If you look at Apostle Paul in Acts chapter 20, 29, he says, I know that after my departure, grievous wolves shall rise up among you, not sparing the flock. If you look at YouTube, video clip, you could see the wild beast, eating all those, innocent, really weak animals. They're trying to escape from them, but they're not. Just like that, Jesus felt that I'm sending his disciples, my disciple too, these kind of really dangerous and hopeless circumstance. Last Sunday, Jesus said, don't ever bring anything. I'm going to provide it. Don't even think about bring extra, tonics and everything. I'm going to provide it. It's kind of positive, right? But this time, he is giving them another aspect of the field. God-hating, Christ-rejecting culture and society and generation. So, we need to kind of get to know that wherever we go in this generation, we're going to face opposition. This is what Jesus Christ said to his disciples. You're going to face this time. People in this world will reject you or totally oppose you. You need to kind of sense that. You need to be aware of that before you go there. If you don't feel like you face this kind of opposition as a Christian, as a shepherd of the sheep of good shepherd, something wrong with it. Whenever Apostle Paul went into the city, there was a riot totally against him and his ministry. Jewish religious leaders, they bought gangsters to kill him. Even governor of Rome tried to pursue him too. So he faced opposition wherever he went. If you go to school, workplace, and you are spending your time in this wicked generation, you don't feel any opposition, you're just one of them then. So we need to face the opposition. You're gonna face the opposition. And Jesus said, I'm sending you out as sheep among wolves. Who is the wolf? Who are they? If you look at verse 17, it tells us, beware of man. Men, they are the wolves. Wherever you go, you're going to meet up with people, right? They are the wolves. Of course, we're going to face spiritual warfare, right? We're going to face spiritual opposition and everything. If you look at Ephesians chapter 6, you can see that. We're going to wrestle against principalities and powers, ruler of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness, right? We're going to face that. Of course we do. It is kind of demonic. But Satan, our enemy, is using man. Keep that in your mind. Who are the wolves? Man. Jesus said, beware of man. Of course, we need to love them. We need to care them. We need to save them. But at the same time, We need to be aware of these enemies, like wolves. They're the man. We need to have some kind of, keep the balance. We need to realize our enemy is going to attack us through human agencies. It might be, we're going to talk about it later on, but it might be the people around you, your friends. So we don't notice that. You know what I'm saying? Even though they are the wolves, we don't notice them. That's why we get attacked spiritually. This God-hating, Christ-rejecting culture and generation will come against you and attack you. All they do is to go against God's children and God's church. Whatever they do, they create some kind of norms, culture, everything to go against church of God and God's children. So keep that in your mind. It might be really fancy, attractive, right? But they're the wolves. They're going to attack you, especially spiritually. Satan is using human agencies to destroy you. Why do they attack? Why do they persecute Christians and God's sheep? Verse 18, you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake. You will be hated by all for my name's sake. Because that's the God-hating culture and Christ-rejecting culture. So if you don't have your identity as a children of God, then you're not going to be attacked. But if you stand there as a children of God, as a representative of Jesus Christ, and a representative of God's kingdom, you're going to be dragged. You're going to be hated by all. Pastor, I'm so good at get along with them. You're just one of them. You don't really proclaim your identity in this generation. There's tons of things to think about. Am I compromising my faith in my field? Do they notice me that I'm a child of God? I'm a Christian? Or am I hiding that? For what? When I was in high school, I was kind of hesitate to pray before meal. So I don't want my friends to know who I am. And then as I, take my lunchbox, I pray. Thank you. Open my lunchbox and eat. I didn't want to do that, so I just, opened my lunchbox before the lunchtime. So even though at that time I received the gospel, I got saved, but I don't want to, let people know that I'm a child of God, I'm a Christian or something, because I want to get along with them. I want to fit in that group. If you don't feel the opposition in your field, and you don't proclaim, you don't claim yourself as a children of God, representative of Christ. But if you are, then you're going to face definitely opposition. Even your family members will see that. How do they attack? Through organized religion. If you look at verse 17, beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues. Synagogues. So, wolves will utilize organized religion to attack you. Religion has always persecuted true believers. True believers. That's the history. This morning, Pastor Sam talked about it too. This world never good to church, Christians, true believers. They mock them. Especially they cover themselves with the religion and then persecuted them. William Barclay, he's one of the great commentators. He said, it has often been true that the man with the message from God has to undergo the hatred and enmity of the fossilized orthodoxy. So, even many scholars admit that this religion persecuted Christians. So, Christianity is not a religion at all. It's not a religion. It's a life itself. It's not about doing. It's not about just ethic. We are totally different from religion. People just named Christianity as a religion, but we are not a religion. We are not part of a religion at all. And then Satan disguises himself, if you look at 2 Corinthians chapter 11, as an angel of what? A light. They disguise themselves, cover themselves with the religion, and they come to you. I'm so religious. We're talking about spiritual reality. Just like Apostle Paul said, they are preaching different gospel. It seems like gospel, but different gospel. False teaching. False prophets out there. Especially in these days, they're preaching prosperity gospel. If you believe in Jesus Christ, if you believe in God, you'll be prosperous. That's not the teaching that, God is teaching his people. Not at all. But if you hear that message, oh, there's hope. I want to pursue that. That's the totally wrong messages. They come to you with this religion. Like I said before, if you are living in this land of China or Middle East, they are under severe persecution by government or religion, right? They just threaten you with the weapon. But we're living in this freedom, free country, like in the United States. You are free to believe, claim your religion. But there's tons of threats from this religion. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about sin. They're not talking about commitment. They're not talking about Christian ethics. They don't talk about it. They talk about prosperity, blessings, bright future. Through government. As you know, 10 emperors of Rome, they persecuted Christians. The country of communism, like Russia, China, they're persecuting Christians. Islamic countries have been persecuting Christians. They're using government, principalities, powers. Many pastors are saying that, who knows, in near future, United States, we have that. Who knows? Through government, through religion, wolves will come and attack us. Even through family. If you look at verse 21, brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child, and children will rise against parents and have them put to death. Isn't that scary? Family members. Brother will deliver brother over to death. That might make sense. If you hate your brothers, you could do that. Even, Joseph's brother, they did that. But father, his child, I cannot even imagine that. I'm going to deliver my son. I cannot even imagine that. Children will rise against parents. We see a lot of things here and there. It is not normal, but it's going to happen. There are a lot of Christians who claim themselves as Christian among non-believers, family members. It's going to be tough for them to continue to live as a children of God, as a citizen of God's kingdom in that setting, in that circumstance. But this is how our enemy and wolves will come and attack us and go against us. That's why Jesus said, if you abandon your family, you will receive it 10 times. I'm not saying that, if you abandon your family, you're going to have 10 wives, 10 sons or 10 daughters. That's not what he's talking about. But your family members, if they are not part of God's family, then they will attack you spiritually. We don't want to hear this kind of stuff, right? We want to hear words of encouragement, right? Comforting words. But this is the reality. And Jesus was sending his disciples, apostles, to that field, and he got to warn them with this, right? If you go to college, if you don't really notice that, then you need to claim yourself children of God, Christian. You notice that. But the time will come. This, opposition will grow and grow more and more and stronger, and come against our church and the members of God's church too. But this opposition comes with time of opportunity. If we hear this, it seems like we are losing. We're going to lose. But that's not the case. It just means that we don't have the resources in ourselves. Don't try to put your faith or trust in men. Okay? Don't try to get something out of man around you. Human agencies, don't try to put your trust, your life, or relying on them. They are the wolves. We have good shepherd. That's opportunity. Time of tribulation is a time of opportunity as well for true believers. We could stand before governors. We could stand before kings to witness Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Interestingly, he said, if you look at verse 17, beware of man, for they will deliver you over the courts and flog you in their synagogue. Verse 18, and you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake. To what? To bear witness before them and the Gentiles. So even though we might feel that this is everything, all negative, hopeless, but God allow us to go through this to bear witness. Standing before Gentiles, standing before governors and kings. Think about Joseph. He was mistreated by his own brothers, right? He was sold by his brothers as a slave. He was hated by his own brother, own family, and ended up being in, slavery and even in jail. But he was able to stand before Pharaoh, and he was able to bear witness of God. So it seems like we are facing opposition, but God will turn it into as a great opportunity to bear witness of Jesus Christ. So that's the end of the story. This is not the end of the story. But through it, we'll be able to bear witness. Somebody might say that, Lord, I don't want that. Just get rid of this opposition. I don't want to just, go through this. But this is how God called us. Long time ago, I shared this, right? If you want to have convenient life as a child of God, where is it at? In heaven. So go to heaven. You're not going to have any tear, right? You're not going to, weep. It's always happy, rejoice, joy. So we go to heaven. But there must be reason why God remain us in this generation, wicked generation. Why? To bear witness through it all. So every single event or moments in your life, whether it is good or bad, that's the great opportunity for you to bear witness. Apostle Paul noticed God's way to work. That's why he sued the people who mistreated him by beating him up. He didn't tell the people, I'm a citizen of Rome. He didn't say that in the beginning. He was beaten by them. At the end of that, they try to, dismiss it. He said, no. I'm a citizen of Rome. It's not right for you to treat me. You didn't even ask me who I am. And he sued them so that he could stand before Caesar. If it is not your lifelong goal, you're not going to able to interpret this opposition in the right way. You see what I'm saying? You might face frustrating situation, disappointing situation, discouraging situation. It's really helpless. As a child of God, as a remnant, it's really hard to live. It's hard to really keep my faith. It's easy to compromise my faith because you are living in this God-hating, Christ-rejecting culture, right? But if you believe that God is going to use you as a witness of Jesus Christ, after all, we should have it as our lifelong goal. God's instruction, Christ's instruction. How do I really bear witness before kings and governors and Gentiles? Be wise. Be wise like serpents. The ancients saw a serpent as wise, keen mind, cunning, smart, prudent, always using great skill and caution to avoid danger. So that's the image of serpent. I don't like serpent. I hate snakes. It's really sneaky, right? In the Bible, that's the image of serpent. Be wise. Use your wisdom from God. I'm bold, man. I'm a Christian. I'm a child of God. And then you don't use any wisdom. It's not good. He said, be wise like serpent. Disciples ask really important question to Jesus. He said, here's a Caesar's inscription, Lord, with a coin, right? And they ask, should we pay our tax? They don't want to pay tax. So they ask that question to Jesus. Instead of saying Caesar's rotten, wretched, it's not good. Don't even pay tax. He didn't say that, Jesus. Look what he said. Render to Caesar's the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. That's wisdom. Be wise like serpent. God is going to give you wisdom. In the midst of this opposition, we might think that we have only option to compromise our faith. What am I supposed to do? As a Christian, as a citizen of God's kingdom, in this kind of situation, what am I supposed to do? What should I do? Ask for God's wisdom, and He's going to give you wisdom. It seems like if there is no exit, way out, I need to take whatever they offer. No. There's a wisdom. Ask God. Everybody, even Christians are doing that. So it's going to be okay. No, it's not okay. Be wise. Ask for wisdom. Be harmless, be innocent. Like dove. I heard that dove is really dirty. But the image of dove in the Bible is purity, innocent, harmless. But I heard that it's a lot of germs, But that's the image. Be innocent, be harmless like dove. The concept here is purity. Don't compromise. Don't compromise. Purity, pure gospel. You are pure Christian. You're pure children of God. Don't try to mix things up. Oh, I could step on the world and I step on God's kingdom. I could survive. No. You got to be wise like serpent. At the same time, you got to be innocent, harmless as doves. Don't fight back. But on the other hand, don't compromise true either. Be wise, you're not going to fight back in front of them, right? But don't compromise. It's kind of hard to bring those two. But if we really ask God for wisdom, then He will. Beware of man. Be alert. Be on your guard. Be watchful. Be sensitive. That's Christ's instruction in this situation. And then at the same time, don't be anxious. If you are dragged and you stand before governors and kings, and you might think that, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? Don't be anxious. God will give you the words to speak. How to deal with the situation. He's going to provide the way. And then lastly, be sure about God's promise. Be sure of the promise of God. The verse 19, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. The thing is, you need to endure. James chapter 1, right? Verse 2. If you face various kinds of trials, take it as a pure joy, right? It will make you be patient so that you could endure and not lacking anything. So you need to be sure of the promise of God because you will be saved at the end. How can we be able to really follow the instruction? The Spirit of God, the Father. Verse 19 to 20. What you are to say will be given to you. So all the wisdom, all the words will be given to you. He continued to say, for it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. So you're not there alone, right? You have Him as a kind of backup, support. This is your background. This is the covenant. It seems like you are alone there as a weak person, as a sheep, but you have good shepherd. He's going to take care of you. All the words that you need to speak, all the wisdom that you need to have will be given to you. Don't worry about it. The Spirit of God the Father will give you words to speak, and He's going to speak through you. That's great comfort. That's why He promised that every flesh will be receiving the Spirit of God. He's going to pour His Spirit upon every flesh, everyone. When the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you will receive power, and you will be witness of Jesus Christ. That's why. So this is kind of reality, right? You're going to face time of opposition, and you're going to you need to know how to turn it into opportunity, right? That's why we need to have time of Selah. Be sensitive to this opposition. We need to be sensitive to this kind of opposition. You need to know the enemies. You need to know their strategies and schemes to fight back. And you got to be sensitive to opportunity. Because he's going to turn it into as opportunity. Which means you need to be sensitive to the working of the Holy Spirit. That's why we need to have time of Selah. If you don't have time of Selah, you don't even notice this. You are surrounded by wolves, and they're biting, and then taking some flesh out of you, and they're enjoying, but you don't even know. You're bleeding, it's kind of hurting. You need to be sensitive to opposition, what wolves are doing spiritually. And we need to know God's bigger plan, bigger picture. He's going to make us stand before Caesar, kings, governors, to bear witness. We might worry about what to say. He's going to give you. Be wise. Be innocent. Don't compromise. Don't try to survive. He's going to help you out. That's why this is the key in your daily lives. Time of Selah. Once again, I want to emphasize on this time. Don't try to make excuse. I'm so busy with certain things. This is top priority. Must be. Don't compromise. You're set apart. You're totally different from other people in the world. You need to have totally different life schedule, time schedule. Time of Selah is needed. It's not an option. This is a spiritual discipline. Physical discipline is good, but spiritual discipline is good for every aspect. So when you have time of Selah, meditate upon God's word. Instead of having your own agenda or own desire, let it reign over you. This must be your agenda. I always pray this prayer whenever I wake up. Lord, let me really put down my agenda and take your word as my agenda. If God's word says yes, I want to say yes. If your word says no, then I want to say no. Without having words for today, you're going to be wondering. And you're going to wrestle with your own agenda. You try to fit in this. You try to survive in this time of opposition on your own ways. Another discipline is prayer. Connect everything to prayer. Instead of figure things out on your own, ask God. Ask a lot of questions. What is your intention? What am I supposed to understand this? How am I supposed to understand this? Ask tons of questions to God instead of you trying to figure things out on your own. Don't. What is your IQ? Are you that smart? Can you figure out things on your own in your life? Do you know what's going to happen in 5 minutes? Of course, you're going to go to sleep like that. But do you know? We don't know. Gina had a car accident. If she knows what's going to happen in 5 minutes, she's not going to have that. We are so limited. And we are not asking for God's wisdom, God's insight, God's, strength and everything. Ask a lot of questions to God, please. He promised, I will give you power, I will give you wisdom if you ask. Open your mouth. I'm going to, pour my wisdom upon your mouth. Pray. And this one should be kind of burden, like Pastor Sam said. It must be kind of hard to keep up with this prayer, meditate upon and ponder upon God's word and pray to God within your schedule. It should be a little bit of burden. Other than that, you're not growing. So this is, time of Selah. How can we make this time of opposition into time of opportunity? Through the time of Selah. Let's pray. Jesus is preparing his disciples. Because if you kind of read God's word, they don't face any opposition before Jesus' crucifixion and his resurrection. Apostle Peter cut one of the Roman soldiers, right? Did he get arrested? No. They didn't face any opposition or persecution before Jesus Christ's crucifixion and resurrection and ascension. Jesus was preparing his apostles to be able to make this time of opposition. You're going to face that. But when you face that, you need to know God's hidden plan. It's a great opportunity for you to stand before kings, before governors, to bear witness of me. Don't worry about it. I will give you words to speak. I'm going to give you wisdom and insight and all the strength that you need. You're not the one who speaks. It's not about just word, right? You're not the one who figure things out. God is going to speak through you. God is going to fulfill his promise. God is going to fulfill his covenant through you. How can we enjoy that? Time of Selah. I want you to really restore the spiritual discipline in your life. Let's pray together.